I'm gonna stop.
So now that we've talked about relationship woes and stuff, welcome to the Guide to Movies podcast with Joe and Sean. I am Joe, he is Sean, and we are joined by Mr. Unyolo himself tonight. How's it going? What time is it there?
It's 12. It's early for me.
I was going to say, I've seen you do worse at like 4:30 in the morning.
It's fine. I watched the whole Oscars. The Oscars was worse.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of ways. Like up until 5 a.m. to hear, and now Anthony Hopkins won. See you next year. It was like a hand of the night that I was not expecting.
Listen, at least you saw what's her name? Glenn Close do The Butt, who we're going to talk about in a little bit. But
God, that was not a good time.
Absolutely the perfect timing for that in the ceremony. And now, Best Actor and Actress.
And in a weird way, maybe her performance of like best performance of the last 10 years. I don't know.
No.
Yeah. Well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna dive into some what we've been watching, talk about some films, and we all watched quite a bit recently, and we're getting into a time where theaters, at least in the U.S., are starting to really reopen, and movies are starting to be pumped out. So it's going to be an interesting couple of months. I think there actually is going to be a summer movie season, so we'll be spending more time talking about what we've been watching here for quite a bit. But why don't we start off with Sean? Sean, we have a lot of overlap and for all of us, so everyone feel free to pitch in, but start us off.
Well, the first one I'm going to start off with is one I didn't actually write down, but I don't know if I talked about it on the last pod, and if I did, please correct me. Together with Ed Helms and oh man, I always forget her name. But I think both of us forgot the name on both pods. But it was just such a beautiful romantic comedy. It was absolutely one for the ages. Definitely try to see this movie. It's like the performances are amazing. The way it's made is truly wonderful. Patty Harrison is the female lead, and it's just like this really just heartwarming and heartbreaking even movie. So I highly recommend that one.
Can I mention real quick now that you've seen it? Have you seen it on Unyolo?
No, it's not out here yet.
This isn't a spoiler or whatever, but at the very end, like they call the baby Lamp, and at the very end, when all of a sudden in the background you hear, "Hey, Lamp," and I loved it. It was like the final
God. that makes me want to watch it now.
Oh, you'll love it. You'll love it. I can guarantee it. Then I saw one that we have all seen, and I believe, knowing it, we all loved, and that is The Mitchells versus the Machines.
Oh, yeah.
Man, a movie I expected to hate when I saw the trailer. It just looked like something where it's like, ooh, technology's bad, overused jokes about technology, and it managed to take those kind of typical jokes, give it a fresh perspective, make it a Black Mirror episode that wasn't dark and was actually like fun and a little bit like, didn't really even have to teach you something. Just to coexist with technology was like the main point. And I cried about 4 times in it. I laughed the rest of the time. I'll just say to both of you, without saying it to everybody who hasn't seen it yet, but the moose sculpture, that got me. Every single time, that absolutely got me. This was like one of the most enjoyable movies I've seen in a very long time. Just so satisfying. Every joke pays off. Every event pays off. Whew, I loved it.
Yeah, like I absolutely agree. Like, especially a movie that Sony sold to Netflix, and I was like, oh God, that's not gonna go good. That never goes good. But the thing is, it's exactly like my daughter. Like, she cried at the part that the robots go, "Are you my mother now?" And she was like, "Oh my God!" She was calling me like, "Whoa, I can't believe I'm crying because." But the thing is just so smart, and like, being someone that works with a lot of graphics and visual stuff, the way they did that animation, like I would even say like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is amazing, but there was parts that kind of made me feel sick because there was like this blurring. This one did perfectly, like the way they did the 2D. And then it's the message to all of us that love movies when she goes like, oh, like people like me, and I was like, Jesus, that's like all of
movies
us.
Movies were there for me or something.
Movies were there for me, and now I'm gonna meet my kind of people when I go to the school, and it's like, oh my God, I want to be your friend. It was like, it was so good. Like the dog, and like there's always a character in these movies that pisses me off because they want to make it look cute. And when I saw that dog with the funny eyes, I was like, oh, it's going to be you. It's going to be you that's going to
You're
piss
the
me
one.
off. You're the one that they're going to try and make it cute. But oh my God, it was just everything is perfect in that movie. I gave it a 5 stars. It's just like most fun I had the whole year.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal movie to me. I really can't believe that it was one that was sold off. I have to believe it was just to get it out there and get some good press for Sony Animation because it really was quality in that sense. I said this before on a previous pod. So many movies have tried to do have tried to infuse their animated films with humor that's appealing to both the young and old, or kids and adults or whatnot. And most times they fail. Most times it's obvious, and one works, the other doesn't. Shrek was the one that really kicked all that off, and of course we've gotten some on both ends of the spectrum when you're thinking of like Sausage Party, or when you're thinking of like I don't know, Trolls or something. But this did it really well. I was invested from like 5 minutes in and really enjoyed myself with this film. I was really shocked. So good for you guys. Good
and the jokes are really smart. It's not like that moment that the dad is like trying to use YouTube. Oh my God, that was like it gave me just memories of me trying to explain to my mom how she uses like Facebook and stuff. I was like, that's exactly it. And like the friend request in the end, in the envelope, that killed. Like, I'm doing loads of spoilers, but I don't care. The movie has so many. Look, the movie has so many jokes that even if you like, and if we like breaking a few, but it's just so good. Like, loved it.
This is going to be a very weird comparison, so bear with me here. But one of the reasons I love Schitt's Creek is because it takes characters that like you may not care for at the beginning, and it's an entire family that you end up caring for at the end. And that's one thing I thought they did very well with this movie is every member of the family, like they talk about being a dysfunctional family and whatnot. Every member of the family came through at the end in one way or another. And that was really cool to see. Something different.
It was great to see this voice cast, because the voice cast provided such a wonderful dimension. I mean, you have the dorky dad, which can just be a very, very cliche role, and instead you give it depth. And Danny McBride does that. Abby Jacobson leading the entire thing. Maida Rudolph as the
I love her.
The robots call it the Lavender One, which is just absolutely a very small 3-second throwaway joke that I thought was brilliant. And the son who is voiced by the director, and even he has like this like uncontrollable nerdiness that just like still like is just like the good little like intersecting jokes, right, that just needle right in there and just slip in. It's just perfect.
Olivia Colman, like when she's doing that bit of like, you like she's mimicking how you use a phone, and you just swipe and you enlarge, and he's doing it to the face of the guy, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so good. Her voice just really fits that character. What is funny when we say it, because she does serious stuff, but there she's so good. It's like it's perfect in it. I can pick anything that I would change, honestly, in that movie.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. I think that is, going to the voice cast, I really love the casting of Maya Rudolph because I just think she's incredible. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of like John Legends in the movie.
My God.
Chrissy Teigen, Blake Griffin, and then you have some SNL, Saturday Night Live people with like Fred Armisen, Sashir Zamata, Beck Bennett, like this whole list of just SNL people thrown in. I love it. It was such a unique cast, but I have to say with Danny McBride, it took me forever to realize it was Danny McBride. I could not, like, it did not sound like him. And even halfway through, I think I checked again to make sure I was right.
That scene with the Legend family when they're getting out of the convenience store and they like all perfect and they try and reproduce that. I was crying like when like, should we do that? And they try like just it's so fun. And like the robots, even the robots that could be no, there's nothing wrong with that movie. And I'm gonna be really pissed off if any crappy Pixar comes now and wins the Oscar. I'm gonna be annoyed with that. Okay?
Well, don't worry, they're dumping everything on Disney Plus, so it's good for them.
It'll be interesting what happens with that. I mean, already they said like, they have a main character that loves movies. So already every Academy member, ooh, let's go. I mean, I'm glad they're using that manipulation on the Academy, but also that is a manipulation.
Maybe maybe manipulate in some other ways that might be more positive for societal good. But anyway, let's stop with Mitchells versus the Machines because we're going to talk about the entire movie, and we have people watching that have not seen it. But let's talk about your next one, Sean.
Oh, God. Well, I'm just going to deflate the entire happiness of this room. But I do want to talk about this because you liked this more than me. And it's Things Heard and Seen. This is the Amanda Seyfried haunted house movie, which I loved the original premise of this, where it's, it's not really about the ghosts that are scary. It's about ourselves. And I thought that was like this cool idea of like marriage is the real horror story. And I sort of loved that, like, that was sort of like the really interesting, fun twist about this, where that part of it was just really like beautiful and kind of like a well-proven story. Amanda Seyfried is captivating in this. She is wonderful. She is the lead until the end, and then she's not the lead, and the story shifts to a character that I can't stand, who I believe was, he's just very obvious, and of course I have to look up his name, but it's like Jamie Dornan, or no, that's the other guy that I love. Things Heard and Seen. I'm sorry, this is unprofessional that I'm looking it up like this, but
none of us ever do that.
James, nobody says what they're typing. James Norton is the actor, and I don't want to blame the actor. He does have a face that is like kind of punchable, and I feel bad for it. That is required of his character. You don't want to care about that character or be involved with that character. He's supposed to be a side guy, and he becomes like sort of the main character in there. And it just was what really, like, the end of this movie just took the air out of it for me. I thought it was going in one direction. It was very close to a B. I gave it a C. It's like kind of around the middle of those two. But that was my main issue with it. So I do want to think with Joe, because I know you said you liked this more than me, and so I was super excited. So that
was my problem too. I saw Joe's review, and then I went and see the trailer, and I was like, well, we're not gonna agree again, are we? Like, I didn't saw it yet, so I don't know if that's the case, but I saw the trailer, and it just like it felt there was something there that wouldn't work for me. But I need to check it out. But so why did you love it so much, Joe?
I think there's a lot of horror / suspense movies that get you going and rile you up to expect more at the end. And this was one where I didn't have that issue. I kind of knew that the suspense and the supernatural elements were going to be there throughout, but they're never quite center stage, not totally center stage. I mean, they're an influence for sure. And I think that's what I really liked. It was well paced for me, and I think the acting is what put it over the top. Most of the times when there's a horror movie or a suspense movie that I like, it's the acting's atrocious because it's some, like, I don't know, wannabe actor that they threw into this so that they can get murdered halfway through or something. That wasn't the case here. I thought Amanda Seyfried was phenomenal in this movie, and I just really enjoy her as an actress. I will say that sometimes I don't totally agree with the praise that she gets for certain roles. I just started down this path and realized I didn't want to go down it. But, in Mank, I enjoyed her in Mank. But I didn't. But when it comes to being nominated for the Academy Award, I have said in the past that I thought, and I'm going to forget the actress's name, but the actress that was working close with Gary Oldman's character of Mank the entire time, I thought she was
Lily Collins. Yeah,
Lily Collins, a much more impactful role to me. But I mean, Sean debated that with me, and I see where he's coming from with it too. But no, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a very intelligent film. I like the shift that Sean's talking about without getting into spoilers. And I think I went in.
You just spoil it. I'm gonna watch it now, thinking, "Where's this end that Sean is talking about?"
You'll notice.
You'll know which one we're talking about. But the other thing is, Netflix, when they dump movies on Wednesdays or Thursdays, I always think the worst. So going into it, I was not expecting much more than background filler, and I was pretty enthralled in it. And so I think, all things considered, it was a much better film than I thought it would be.
It's very courageous that they decided to have a horror movie or a ghost story where the ghosts take a back seat. And I was like, okay, there's some balls on this movie that I'm loving. It really is that, you know, I was just sitting there at the end. I'm like, I want Amanda Seyfried back. And like, it was just one of those things where I was just kind of bummed that like she wasn't there anymore, because she was sort of the heart and soul of the thing. And it you know, it's tough when it goes to somebody who just is like, I want good things for that actor. I'm hoping for great things for him. But you know, in this, it was just it was a tough watch.
It's also a book adaptation, which to me as well, adapting horror / supernatural, I think is pretty impressive to put together a cohesive film like that. Because sometimes it's just so batshit crazy. You know, either, you know, talking about supernatural elements or horror elements taking a back seat. A lot of times they're over CGI'd or they're like super like corny and cheesy. And I didn't quite get that here. So with you. On board with that.
Well, I'll check that one out.
Now that we told you the movie, please check it out.
Now that you told me everything.
There's still surprises.
I was just thinking, what else has James Norton been in? And there's a post from yesterday on BuzzFeed. Here's everything you've seen James Norton in.
That's always good when they have to do that kind of thing. Is not no one can think of anything really.
He was in Little Women. He was in Little Women.
Oh,
he was Timothée Chalamet's friend.
Oh.
Hey, go over here was his big line.
He was in Flatliners, which I never heard of. Hampstead, which I never heard of.
Flatliners is so bad. Don't watch it.
There we go. He was in an episode of Black Mirror.
It's a remake, a very bad remake.
Oh, jeez. War and Peace, Happy Valley, and other stuff that I've never heard of.
So he wasn't on anything really.
He's big. It seems like a big time British scene, basically.
British TV, essentially. Yeah. All right. Well, Unyolo, let's move on to you. Talk about. You know, we're going to talk about one of your films in a second, but what is this? You started Barry and what?
I started Barry and Invincible, like the TV show.
Gotcha.
Yes.
I read that originally in the outline as Barry and Invincible movies from Russia. And I was like, what is this movie?
No. Sorry, I was in a hurry. Didn't put any commas on, like, I didn't divide things. I just wrote everything in one go. But yeah, I started Barry that everyone is always talking about, and I never check it out. And it's pretty funny. It's like it's really, really good. But yeah, Invincible has been that show that really blew my mind. I think it's. I started watching, and I thought this animation is not very good. But then, like, who cares? Like, I'm not gonna spoil it. But that last episode, that train scene,
I didn't watch it.
And okay, oh crap!
I will say
they go on a train. They go on a train. That's
it. And then Amanda Seyfried disappears halfway through the train.
But it's just like that also takes guts. Do that kind of animation with that kind of violence, and still like you care so much about those characters.
Yeah,
like you didn't saw the last episode, but I was in tears. Because being a dad and like imagining that, like it's really, really good. So I'm really curious now to see what they're gonna do in the next seasons. But it's so clever. Yeah. And then the movies from Russia is just because I've been watching movies to do a post about Russian movies. It's not Invincible movies from Russia.
I thought you were really hyping up movies from Russia.
And they're Invincible. No.
Yeah, just real quick on the Amanda Seyfried thing. I can't. Every time she's mentioned, I keep thinking of Gollum from the movie. I think it's Ted 2 with her.
Yeah, I hate that, but yes.
Where because every time I mention her, or like when my mother loves Mamma Mia, and anytime Mamma Mia or Mamma Mia 2 is on, my dad's like Gollum. Terrible.
It's horrible.
But look, come on, but you can see where they're coming from.
Oh, absolutely. Like, that's why I feel so bad.
Look,
I love that she played along.
Yeah, no, look, after you bring those things out, it's really hard not to see it. I remember there was a Family Guy episode that they went to rob this safe and they use Reese Witherspoon's chin to touch it. And since then, I can never look at her the same way. Look, like every time I look at her, I'm like, shit, they were right. Like,
I have another Family Guy reference, and again, I won't go that far because it's really bad, but it references another actor. Anyway, I want to talk real quick about two movies I watched. One is The Human Factor. It's a documentary focused on the Israeli-Palestinian negotiations and the Middle East crisis, and really looks over the past 20, really 30 years at this point, looking at talking to the negotiators that were actually at the table. And it's really kind of eye-opening because I think, Yolo, I don't know how much it plays into politics over there, but it's something that we hear about in politics in the U.S. every day. Every day. Like in every election, it's all about like, I'm going to be the one to bring peace to the Middle East. And everyone knows that it's a very complicated issue, and it's even gotten more complicated post 9/11 with, the Iraq War and Afghanistan War, I should say, and all that. But this is really fascinating about even starting with George H.W. Bush as president in the early 90s, transitioning to President Clinton, how close they were to actually signing a deal, and the mutual respect that was built up between both sides, and sort of the power that's at play on both sides politically and fear-based, and how people were murdered and all. It's just obviously a very complicated issue, and so much history there. This is a documentary overload. Like when you hit play, it doesn't slow down, and you have to keep up and figure out who the players are, and you're learning, and like so much information is thrown at you. But it was really worthwhile to me because I feel like I learned a ton about players that I've known about for the longest time, but didn't realize, I guess, all the intricacies of them or their histories. So that's
Where can
hitting.
you watch that?
So it's hitting theaters here Friday, but it also was released in limited theaters back in January. So I don't know really what's going on with it. It's a Sony Pictures Classic re-release. I imagine it has Apple TV screen like all over it to me. I feel like they would pick that up in a heartbeat, or something like Hulu. So who knows?
Hulu seems to love those documentaries these days. They scooped up like a bunch before the Oscars, even like after the nominations hit. Like they just grabbed them all.
It's every once in a while I love a good documentary that just dives deep into a subject, and this one caught me off guard. But I really
I think documentaries lately, they're picking up a lot of steam also. It's one of those things that people really, because they also I think they learned how to mix a little bit of the entertainment value with the documentaries. They know how to build them. And even if it's something that you probably think you'd never be interested, I think that in Netflix on that, I have to admit, they do a good job. They do a good job with some of the documentaries. I wasn't really into that octopus winning the Oscar. No, I'm not. I was a bit annoyed with that one. But then the thing is, you start listening to all the backstory and how long it was with that octopus, and you think, just give him the awards.
No, don't give him the freaking award for the octopus.
He has no other friend. He has an octopus as a friend for many years. He'd give him something. But no, but the thing is, it was so many better documentaries out there, and they weren't even nominated. But well, in the end of the day, they're getting a lot better. I don't know if you guys saw the documentary with what's his name? You Can't Put Down David Arquette. Did you guys saw
kill David Arquette? Yeah,
I didn't see that.
Oh my God! Have you seen that, Sean?
I meant to see it. I think it was it came out this summer. Oh,
guys, see that documentary. You're gonna end up loving the guy because he just puts everything out there. It just it was amazing, and the things that guy went through. I really loved that one. It was one of my favorites documents in a long time. You need to check it out.
Was it Courtney Cox's wigs from the Scream movies that were trying to kill him or something? Or I don't.
He's trying to kill himself. It's but it was really good. But that octopus thing,
I had trouble with that one. I've gone on my rant. I'm done with it. But octopus teacher, God help us.
I do have to share this again, and Sean's heard this multiple times, but I think it's absolutely hilarious. IMDb's tagline for the movie is a filmmaker forges an unusual friendship with an octopus living in South African kelp forest, learning as the animal shares the mysteries of the world. And Rotten Tomatoes is a diver swims with an octopus that lives in a kelp forest. That's my favorite. I absolutely love that. No F's given.
This movie.
Rotten Tomatoes is like, what is this? Do we actually have to put this up on our site?
They probably thought it was a joke.
They got it to the Oscars. They got it to win the Oscar. The octopus won the Oscar. I can't.
The octopus won the Oscar.
That just shows how powerful Netflix is getting. Like,
yeah.
Oh,
it's true. Actually, Sean, you talked a lot about that when we did the Oscars podcast about, you know, the Netflix bump with the shorts and with the documentaries and all of that. It's quite true.
Well, the shorts, like you Google where the shorts are, and some of them don't show up, and then like Two Distant Strangers is on Netflix, and you know it was also a very divisive film, which also gets people talking, which also gets people to be like, I heard about that one, and then they hit that one, and so there's everything there just kind of worked in its favor, and also my octopus teacher.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. Like a lot of these shorts no one saw, and then I saw that one on Netflix, so I'm gonna vote on that one because it's the only one I saw. So, but the idea was good of those Two Distant Strangers, but I don't know, the acting for me wasn't. It just
they cast an actual Chicago hot dog for the officer. Hey, what you doing there? Get over here! I'm like, good Lord, what the hell is that? Oh God! My goal, Big J. My goal is always to make sure I just make sure Joe writes something down, knowing that he's marking the tape at there to save that little video of me impersonating a Chicago hot dog.
Or impersonating something.
Or cut it out. You know.
Hey, come on.
Put it everywhere. Hey, come on.
Hey, come on. What are you cutting me out of the podcast for?
He's going to do a meme. Like, you're going to be a meme soon.
Oh, my God. Out of control. Well, listen, the last movie I want to talk about before we get into a larger discussion about Without Remorse is I saw 4 Good Days with Glenn Close, Mila Kunis, and a dollar store wig. Glenn Close absolutely phoned in this performance, and it got me thinking, when was she ever good? And I put that on Instagram. A lot of people responded, the wife. Agreed. Yeah. Before that, I would say 101 Dalmatians. But like her performance was so shitty in this, and I mean that in like with all sincerity and all professionalism. Maybe that's not the word I'm looking for, but she absolutely phoned it in against Mila Kunis, who is known for her comedic roles and for being a goof in a lot of ways. And for the first 20 minutes of this movie, Meg in my head, Meg from Family Guy, she's absolutely incredible in this movie. She plays an addict who is on all kinds of different drugs. She's tried to get sober, or she's tried to come down off of the drugs forever. She needs 4 good days to detox, ultimately, so that she can get the 4 days to detox, not 4 good days. She needs 4 good days in order to where she doesn't do drugs. You got
to feel great all those 4 days
to get this opioid blocker shot. And if she's not off of the drugs, it could result in major health complications right away. And it's a great concept, and I think these stories definitely need to be told. They're often told now, and I'm okay with that, telling them in multiple ways, because there's intricacies, and every story or every family has a different story. This is based on a Washington Post article that is telling the true story, but it falls flat. And there's some lines in there that I think I laughed out loud in the theater. Like at one point, the actor is playing Glenn Close's husband, and it was like, it's not your fault that she's an addict, and he's going through all these reasons why. And he's like, it's something along the lines of, it's not your fault that that sperm swam in, or your ex-husband's sperm swam into your egg and she became an addict. And I was like, what?
I feel like you skipped a few steps.
I swear to God, that's in there. And at one point, Glenn Close yells at someone and says, "No shit, Sherlock." And I was like, oh my God, like the laziest writing.
And after all that, you're going like, oh, Glenn Close is not a good actress. She sounds like she did amazing with those lines.
She did horrible.
With those lines, there's not much you can do. Like,
she has the emotional range of a brick, and was not.
Yeah, she read the script before going in, and she lost all point of doing it.
Well, hey, she's Mel Gibsoning it, right, and phoning it in with these roles, but or Bruce Willis as well in some of these like Cosmic Sin movies. But I don't know. It just was something that I was not. I was surprised about, and I was not ready for to hate it as much as I did. And again, because Mila Kunis put in such a phenomenal performance. Like, I feel so bad for her that this movie isn't getting better recognition and isn't more widely available. But
yeah,
I mean, the Glenn Close being a bad actress, or when was she ever good? Personally, The Wife, she had a presence, but I thought that was a pretty weak movie and sort of weak performance. I mean, she was kind of gauged to win the Oscar, and that would have been fine, I guess. On the other hand, I look at just lately, it's been sort of unfair to her, considering she hasn't won the Oscar. Whatever she's going to do makes it seem like she's trying to win an Oscar. Hillbilly Elegy, 4 Good Days, bad wigs, crazy glasses. And I will just say, the Hillbilly Elegy performance, that movie is not good. I think her performance is fine. I think it's actually kind of good in some regards. Everything else about that movie is a dumpster fire, but she is kind of okay. Yeah, I would not have wanted her to win the Oscar for this. I go back into the 80s and I think of Big Chill, Fatal Attraction, The Natural, Dangerous Liaisons. And I'm like, these are all-star performances. And I want to know where that happened. I mean, even as we said, 101 Dalmatians, that is a brilliant performance, because that you are basically playing an animated character before everyone played live action animated characters. This was the first time you had to do it, and the actual Cruella de Vil is a friggin' nut job, so she kind of had to make this role into her own. She couldn't just imitate that. Whoa. And so that was kind of this really sort of brilliant move. I really love her in that. I would have loved to. I know it's crazy. I would have loved to have seen her get a nomination for that. But I mean, when it comes down to it, it's right now she's sort of in this rough spot where she's sort of being observed. There's other movies she's in coming out that, hopefully are going to, if not get her the Oscar, at least get her to just relax a little bit. I'm hoping for at least that. I mean, we all know her best performance was The Butt, but when it comes down to it, she was great. She still is good. It's a little weird patch right now where, these performances are kind of bad.
Yeah, but the thing is, she's an amazing actress, and the wife,
the thing is, no,
she's an amazing actress. But if you look, you guys are talking about when was the Robert De Niro did a really good. I saw what was it, The Grandfather, the Dirty
Grandpa.
Dirty Grandpa. So they all do these crappy movies sometimes that they phone it in.
Totally.
It's just normal. But The Wife, she was amazing in that, and she was completely robbed on the Oscar. But I don't think sometimes people just love shitting on her, to be honest. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
if you get a Meryl Streep, she does anything, and she's automatically she's nominated for an Oscar.
It's the Beyonce syndrome. Beyonce
into
Beyonce
the woods
in the middle of the street, and
Into the Woods, and she gets nominated for that. Oh, come on,
off.
Just no,
that was very off.
So don't go. I didn't saw this movie yet, but yeah, she's probably just thinking, okay, you didn't give me the Oscar again. So now you're going to see what's really shitty acting. So, the difference. Maybe she's I don't know.
I'm just mad that she wasn't professional enough to push back on that wig, because it is a terrible, terrible wig, very obvious wig. And to be clear, I don't think about Glenn Close that often. During the Oscars, whether it was alcohol induced or not, I kept calling her Judi Dench.
That's alcohol induced, I think. That doesn't sound like that's.
My God.
Although a table of Judi Dench,
Helen Mirren
would be fun. Oh, that's better. That's a little better.
That's not very much better, but
but I think back to movies that she did in the 80s, like The Natural and Fatal Attraction, and those were solid performances by her. I don't think she's aged well in the acting role, in the acting position. But
no, Fatal Attraction for me is like her best role.
Best.
Like, but that's the thing. She also like, and when we look as they get older, especially the actresses, their roles are a little bit more contained in some ways. Like that Fatal Attraction is, she can go completely nuts. Like I think she doesn't get the opportunities that maybe would let her shine a little bit more. But I'm just hoping she gets an Oscar before she dies, because it's like just it's like a joke by now. Like people are like, oh, let's nominate her again, think she can win, and then nope. So
I mean, hey, Peter O'Toole, Alfred Hitchcock, they never won Oscars. I'm saying that, like, I'd love for her to win an Oscar. I think she deserves one by now. But I will say that if she goes without one, she'll still have the legendary legacy. And that,
for sure.
Yeah.
So, Unyolo, one thing I like to do is check the news while we're talking every once in a while, because so many times the news drops that's related or whatnot. The article I just saw on comingsoon.net is Glenn Close wants to play Cruella de Vil again, teases the plot. And she said, talking with Variety, that the character she portrayed all those years ago was enjoyable to her. She hinted that she might not be done yet. I have a great story to make another Cruella with my Cruella, before hinting about a story that features Cruella going to New York before she disappears down the sewers. This is totally a joke that she's making, but this is a true article. Just so you know.
Okay. Oh, she's fun.
I was going to ask if someone told her a movie's coming out of Cruella that she doesn't know about.
I was gonna say that's actually, you know what? That's pretty fun of her. She's always so fun with this stuff. Like, she knew at the Oscars she wasn't getting an Oscar this year, so she agreed to do that really bad sketch, and it
was horrible.
Her
2.5 hours in
is fun enough, and like the actual sketch was stupid, but it was just because Glenn Close is having fun tonight. And that part of it at least was great.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the movie I didn't have much fun with Without Remorse. Yola, what were your thoughts on Without Remorse?
Oh, like Movie Files really got me pumped, because it was like saying, oh, this is like the prequel for the Black Panther character that he plays. And I saw the trailer. I was like, okay, I kind of can see that. That's him, like the train. Oh, it was just horrible. It was like, it was just horrible. Like Michael B. Jordan looked like he would like the thing is, Die Hard did it really well when someone gets hurt and he keeps on going. But that guy, I was the whole movie thinking, you should be dead by now, dude. Like you're not even able to do anything now because you hurt. That scene in the building that is supposed to come down and just kill all those people. I was the whole time thinking, Jesus, like you can't even stand. What are you doing there? It's just ridiculous. He has one good scene, maybe. I love that scene that he goes inside the burning car to talk with that guy. But at the same time, I was thinking, why did you put it on fire? Like what was the point of that? You put it on fire, you open the door with no gloves, you'd be like, already have your, like, nothing made sense in that movie. But I don't know what they were thinking. The whole time it made no sense. It was like bits were missing. I felt like in the editing, someone was like, this movie is too long. Let's remove some bits. And then they forgot that it had to make sense when they put it all together.
1000% agree with that. There were so many leaps in logic, and I felt like so many times the characters were explaining where we were going in the very next scene, and then suddenly it was there, and I'm like, whoa, wait, how did that just happen? I also was not convinced with Jodie Turner-Smith as Karen Greer at all.
Yeah.
And I know that like they changed the role a little bit. I believe it's either the granddaughter or the niece of Greer in the originals, or in the book. She was not sold. I'm having this issue, and not to get away from Without Remorse, I'm having this issue where I feel like so many movies that I've watched recently have been so poorly written. It's making me wonder if like we've been on a writer's strike during COVID as well, because it's been terrible. In my opinion, like some of the lines are just so freaking cheesy and so bare minimum, pedestrian, because we have to use that term once a podcast. But Sean, what did you think of this?
I am so pissed off. I mean, this was Michael B. Jordan in the center, who's just like always captivating.
Mhm.
Then you have it written by Taylor Sheridan, who I do not say no to ever. And then it is directed by a name you don't recognize, Stefano Salima, who is a director of some of the episodes of 000, which was also on Amazon Prime. If you haven't seen the miniseries, or actually it's just season 1 of 000, it's an exceptional show about the drug trade and everything, which it's like, oh no, a show about the drug trade. Hey, look at that original piece of crap. But no, it is actually genuinely like beautifully made and everything. All of those ingredients, and we just get nothing from this.
The trailer wasn't bad. The trailer wasn't bad.
The trailer got me excited enough. Yeah,
they had a lot of time to make it.
But my issue is there's a couple of great action sequences.
Mhm.
I'd say the plane crashing, extremely well done. And I will hang back on realism for that one because he held his breath for about 17 years. But it was just like beautifully constructed and beautifully shot, like all the way until the moment where they see him and the plane goes backwards, so they're going to shoot him down. It was just like great perspective. I really loved that. I loved the prison fight scene, even though it ended in the dumbest way possible. And I love that people are just like, oh, he threw water on his muscles to make him slippery with the guards. I'm like, shut the fuck up. We all know what that was from.
Yeah, Sean, if you remember when I was watching it, I told you that he's slapping his pecs or something, and you were like, wait, what? And I'm like, he's literally in the movie going like this.
Joe, the phrase you used was slap those titties, Michael. So do not try to clean it up for the podcast, sir.
I forgot I said
bring
that.
our text out here. I will say, this is the characters. I'd say, when it comes to the performances, they're not really good, but it's because this script is so damn weak, and these characters are trying there. They literally had to murder a pregnant wife to get this character to have any sort of emotion or motivation. I mean, for the love of God, you have to have the worst thing possible happen to you to try to get this motivation, and you still don't feel it. And I'm just like sitting there kind of dejected, being like, man, this is what we were given for all of the ingredients we have. Did anyone even bother putting it in the oven and baking it, or just leave it out there and just, like a slovenly rotten mess?
The only good thing for me is in the end, I was thinking this is so bad. And when they go I have a new name for you, for some reason I thought, oh, for fuck's sake, if they say Jack Ryan, I'm turning this.
I thought the same exact thing.
I was like, are they gonna turn this into being Jack Ryan, like a solo thing? What's your name? And I was like, oh no, no. And then they just put this weird name that even him made fun of saying, oh, that's original. But I was for some reason thinking this is gonna be a reinventing of Jack Ryan, and now we're gonna get Michael B. Jordan being the next Jack Ryan, he's gonna be the next Superman. And I was just thinking, oh, you're not gonna do that. But everything was going so bad that I just thought that was gonna happen. But yeah, it was not good.
It was really upsetting to me, especially after the first 10, 15, 20 minutes. I was like, oh, okay, this kind of surprised me a lot in where how it took off has some possibility.
Also, congrats on casting Coleman Domingo and putting him in 2 minutes of this fucking movie. What a bunch of idiots. It's just the best 2 minutes too. It's you got Coleman Domingo and he's just oh, you're not gonna be sleeping much. Eat cake, eat cake, eat cake. See ya. Enjoy the plane ride. It's what in the world? It's Coleman Domingo.
Eat cake, eat cake, eat cake. Oh God. Well, listen, this is something new for us, but we're going to have to take a break here so that we can, throw in an ad here. So I'm going to take a break and slap those titties, and we'll be right back. The nice part is we just hang on here for a few seconds, and everyone that's watching, welcome. I'm going to pee. Sean's going to pee. He'll be back in 2 seconds.
Oh God,
I forgot I said that about that movie. I was so disappointed in it, to be quite honest.
No, yeah, I was, because I think Michael B. Jordan almost on everything. He can at least make us love his character.
Agreed.
And on that movie, I was but then it was everything that last scene that they just go in the car into the river.
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying, what was the point of that? What was the point of any of this? And then the way he tricks Guy Pearce in the bathroom to say, oh yeah, I know what happened. Like I can't even remember how stupid it was. Like, what did he say? And then he went, "We didn't put that in the report." And I'm like, that was an easy thing to find out, even if it's not in a report. You're gonna like kill this guy for something like that. But look, I just didn't care for it. But it was disappointed because I like the trailer.
Guy Pearce is his character, Senator Villain Schmidt. It's just like, let's be more obvious, dude.
Yeah,
generic.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know from the beginning that he's gonna be like the guy that
stepped on. I was like, oh yeah, bad guy.
Yeah, the moment he steps on, that's what pisses me off when they get like famous actors, because I think that's a really small role for someone that he's gonna be the bad guy in the end, isn't it? Is you know straight away that he's gonna be it. But anyway, it was not good.
And we're back. Sean, give us some awards talk here. What was awards watch with Sean about this past week, and what's coming up next week?
We're running long, so I'm going to go quick and just say that the awards watch, I talked about how, are the Oscars dying? Because every year when the ratings are low, we say, are the Oscars dying? Excuse me. Dialing the phone for 911 because they're dying.
Call and press 1 to vote for Glenn Close.
Press 2 for Anthony Hopkins. Bye. So I think I just say, like, are they dying? Are they in trouble because the ratings are low? Spoiler alert, they're not. It's one of those things where the ratings will be low. I explore why instead. And then if I explore why, I say, why are they less popular? Why do people not know about them? Why don't people watch these movies? I go through a bunch of reasons. I will say this is the proudest I've been when it comes to one of my columns. Like awesome. It flew out of me like just like this amazing amount of verbal diarrhea, or excuse me, verbal this Oscars, and it's just one of the thing that I just really loved, and it's a lot of fun. Check it out. I go through all the different possibilities. Do I come up with an answer? Kind of, maybe, like a little bit, maybe not, but it's just good to explore everything and reflect. This week, I had a special request. I was going to go into the animated features, but instead I'm going to try this out. And let's keep in mind, I could have said no to this special request, but I kind of want to do it also because it seems kind of fun. I'm going to predict, with no knowledge whatsoever, I'm going to predict the MTV Movie Awards. So basically right now I've already started writing the article, and I just sound like a complete jackass because I'm like, Emily in Paris has quite a bit of the youth favorability, but maybe there's a chance that popularity can go to, and I'm just typing this and I'm like, oh God, I'm a complete shithead. You want to see me squirm and miss every single prediction.
I'm so pumped for this.
That's what everyone wants from you. Just seeing you fail, Sean.
We gotta connect with the kids.
This far.
We gotta connect with the kids every once in a while here, guys.
What's your prediction for best kiss?
Oh, I haven't gotten there yet, but I will say I do have analysis on this. It's often a same-sex kiss. That's usually what they like to put on there because it's like the cool thing and stuff like that. So I got to look for which one would be the same-sex kiss, and that's the one I'd probably go for. But I remember looking at the list, and there weren't any huge standouts. Oh, is there a standout?
There's a standout.
What's the standout?
The best kiss is going to be Bridgerton, hands down.
Oh, God, you're right.
Hands down.
Bridgerton is famous for its butts, not its kisses, but...
Doesn't matter. The butts lead to kisses. It's all part of the package.
Butts lead to kisses. Well, I've been doing it wrong.
All this time, Sean, and we didn't know.
We've learned so much already. All right, let's jump into our news because we're being ridiculous. But Yolo, you talked about this a little bit. Invincible just wrapped up its first season run, 8 episodes this past week, and it is getting 2 more seasons on Amazon Prime Video. I'm really pumped for this. Kevin, who writes the recaps for Guide to Movies, has been incredible in unpacking it without spoiling it each week, but really kind of keeping me interested with where things are going as well. So are you ready for 2 more seasons?
Oh yeah, for sure. The way it ends, my problem with TV shows is this. I'm a very impatient person. I have no patience. Now thinking, I don't know how long it's going to take, but being animated, I don't know, probably a year at least. So that's the only thing that really annoys me, because when he gets, sometimes I just lost all interest. But the way they ended this show, there's no way you're not gonna watch the second season, because it just ends on like this cliffhanger that you really want to see what's going on. And like I was saying, like at the beginning was a lot of the gore and the violence that got me interested, but the characters started being really interesting. Like all of the characters are really interesting. So I'm just waiting for these seasons, and then it's obvious they're gonna do a live action.
I can't wait. That's coming.
Yeah, it's obvious that they're gonna do a live action of it. So, and I'm curious about seeing that, like what they're gonna do with it, because it's just so much out there. It's like The Boys, but as an animated. But I think he goes even further. There's some things there I never thought a human body was gonna happen. Like I'm like thinking, oh my god, I never thought about that person. No one ever dying like that. Not that I think about that a lot, how people could die.
I know, I'm getting really concerned here. Do you write Saul? Are you one of the Saul writers?
Yeah, like, but sometimes you think how many that train, like you didn't saw Joe, but that train scene is just, you need to see it. It's just like incredible.
Yeah. Sean, do you think they already have started on season 2 in terms of the animation and stuff?
There's a chance they have with the animation. This animation is interesting because it is designed to be a little bit crappy. It's designed to be a Saturday morning cartoon, which was an exquisite artistic choice. I absolutely love that move. I will say that, when it comes to waiting for the animation and stuff, maybe they started the animation, but all I know right now is they're definitely working on 2 and 3 together, and so those will be released much nicer. Like we may have a gap between 1 and 2, but it'll be released much nicer. I will say Amazon grabbing all of these offbeat superhero properties has started to really love it, because these are people that are sick of the Marvel versus DC and stuff like that. They want it, and they're just like, you know what, forget that. Kirkman literally wrote Invincible as a response to, I don't want to write Marvel or DC, so I'm literally making my own world. This season ends with obviously won't spoil, but like a million different possibilities of where it can go. There is there is the full blown cliffhanger, but there's everything that Walton Goggins is working on, everything that's happening here, and so it's like, oh, there's a lot of content they can put into this. They're I hate to use the word content, but I will. There's a lot of content they can put in this. They can fill up, based on what you see at the end, they can fill up 4 or 5 seasons or something like that. And so
there's a lot of stuff there. There's a lot of stuff but it's just the details. Like even the ones that at the beginning, I was like, oh, that's gonna like the way they use the name, like in the middle of a sentence and then go Invincible.
Yeah. At first, I was like, "This is stupid." And then,
at first I was like, and at first I was like, "Oh, for God's sake, is this this is gonna be a crap show?" Now I'm all the time going, "It's gonna be now." Oh no, it's gonna be now. No. Yeah, so. They just made their own thing, and you need to give credit to people that do that, because, like Sean said, it's completely different from everything that's out there.
Does everyone else pause when the Invincible comes to see how long it came in? Because sometimes it's 5 minutes into the show, sometimes it's 55 minutes in.
Yeah, that's the thing. You never know, and he makes people guessing in the middle of the conversation. You're like, are they going to put it out? Are they going to put it out? Oh, no. It's really clever. It's and the thing is, the voices are the voice cast is like people that you never thought, like J.K. Simmons. I was like, okay, that's a funny choice, but to have him there. But then everything just fits perfectly. It's a really, really good show.
J.K. Simmons marries Sandra Oh, and they have a baby, Stephen Yun. It's just that's how you know how talented the voice cast is. Because oh yeah, that's not a real thing. And so then you realize, oh, they're playing their characters really well.
Yeah, I know exactly.
I
It's
do need
really
to finish
good.
that. That is my goal for this evening, is to finish that. I did also, because I'm an old man, just check the runtime of that episode, and I very much appreciate that it's only 45 minutes compared to Star Wars The Bad Batch, which released yesterday
I
with
know
like
it was
3 hours.
huge. Yeah, I know it was huge.
I sat down in between work meetings and was like, oh, I'll eat my lunch and watch an episode. No.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I started watching, and then I saw like 1 hour, and I was like, crap. Why is it so long? It's not a movie. Like, what is this? Like,
Zack Snyder's The Bad Batch.
yeah.
Good for you guys for checking the time. I just sat on my couch and hit play, and then I was just like, it's been a while.
Sam slams the door and leaves.
How many episodes did they release at once?
Did the credits happen in the middle?
Oh my gosh.
Did I fall asleep?
Wait, let's move on to the next story. Sean, jumping to you with this one. Deadline reports that J.J. Abrams' upcoming thriller film Lou is enlisting Lovecraft Country's Journey Smollett and Oscar-winning actress Allison Janney, who I absolutely love, in a film that is going to follow a mother who teams up with an older neighbor to try and locate her kidnapped daughter, a journey that takes them into the wilderness and leads to secrets of their past being spilled. Solid casting, in my opinion, Sean.
The energies of these two are very different and kind of very perfectly working together. Allison Janney, a little bit more laid back, cool, but has that intensity, who will probably be working a lot of the where's my daughter angle, and so will be heightening that emotion quite a bit. If she plays the mother, I think she does. I'm not sure. Allison Janney.
I think Allison Janney's the older woman.
Oh, obviously. I thought they meant older woman as in, okay, that makes sense. All right, so regardless, so that's even better, because now she'll be having some fun with it, like playing the older woman. We've seen her play the older woman in I, Tonya. We've seen sort of that, like, there's probably a bit of sass, a bit of creepy, like a bit of everything there. It's just kind of this wonderful
thing. You two
thing.
fuck yet? It's one of the best lines.
The story pretty much lost me. What's going on there? It's like perfect. And then Journey Smollett, who, oh man, if people haven't gotten a chance to watch Lovecraft Country, I get it. The last episode wasn't that great. It didn't really wrap it up nicely, but the rest of it is so good. She is phenomenal in it. She's got like a level of terror that she can play that I've already realized. She was also in Birds of Prey, I believe, and she was just as cool, just as amazing in that. It's going to be interesting to see this dynamic work, and if this is going to be like a twofer where it's going to be almost them the whole time, which that seems like the case. And I just love the idea of like, how are they going to maneuver the setting of the woods? How are they going to try to interact with that? I know nothing about the plot of this movie except what was just told, but already I'm completely interested.
How about you, Yolo?
Yeah, like for me, the big selling point also is J.J. Abrams. I love him. Like, I don't care what a lot of people say. Even with, like, I have this trauma because of Lost, because I wasted 10 years of my life, and it could have been like 3 years, but still I think he is amazing. I just hope it's not a Cloverfield like thriller in the end, that he uses that trick again. But no, I'm really curious to see this, because it sounds like something that he could do very, very well. Like the thriller, when he does that kind of mystery thing, he does it very, very well. And like you guys said, the casting of this is like amazing. And yeah, I agree with Sean. The last episode of like Lovecraft, it's just not great. It's another one that's like, it gets to the end and it just kind of ruins it. But yeah, the cast and J.J. Abrams, I'm really curious to see what he's gonna do.
He's got a lot coming out. I mean, that new deal he signed with Warner Brothers, and I think specifically he's doing a lot with HBO Max. It's going to be quite the couple of years.
He's producing a lot of things also, like he like Star Trek. They got the writer, they got that going. Like, I think he's involved in this like Black Superman movie also. I think he's going to have a hand on that. Like, so.
Okay, well, since you brought it up, we'll touch on that real quick. We weren't going to touch on it, but I do want to say, like, we knew this was coming, right? In terms of the news that came out today that they were looking for a Black Superman and a Black director. Two qualms I have. One is the Hollywood Reporter article listed every Black director they could think of, which is pretty like annoying to me. Like, obviously they're the people that are going to be considered. Let's not just go around saying like you and throw them in. Number two is that we originally thought this was going to be the character, and I'm going to forget the actual name from the comics, but there is a black Superman in the comics that is not Kal-El. What we're hearing, and by we, I mean what the Hollywood Reporter is reporting, is that they are adapting the story of Kal-El for this character. So he's going to be a black Superman. And this is like a black Kal-El Superman. And that's what frustrates me. It goes back to the same argument I make anytime that they take an old property and put a female cast in the roles. And they're like, look, we're making a female film. No, you're not. You're just adapting something old and giving it to females to say, look, we made a female version instead of writing an original project. That's what bothers me with this. It's just such a weird turn. I was all on board with it and thought it would be great, but now I just don't. It sounds like they're kind of going off on their own path, and J.J. Abrams doesn't have the best history with writing and or producing Superman films. Back in the early 2000s, he wrote Superman Flyby, which was it 2000s or 90s? 2000s, I believe, which was after the whole Superman Lives debacle, where they were trying to make what's his name, Nicolas Cage as Superman. So it's just a weird dynamic, and I think with everything else going on with Warner Brothers and the questions around DC, it's just like, what you guys doing over there, huh?
Yeah, my question is like, what's gonna add to the story that we didn't add with the white Superman? That's the thing, because his story is like someone that doesn't fit in, that he feels like an outcast and all that, and in some characters adding that, like the being black, maybe you can bring that into the story. But in this one, I just don't see the point here. And I completely agree with you. There's so many stories that you can tell or create something new, or like characters that weren't adapted that are already black in the comics. Why are you doing Superman? Because like you said, in the comics, there's a black Superman. There's like Steel that, if you guys ever saw the movie, he's not
Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaquille O'Neal. That is like the worst movie ever, but the story is really, really good. Mm-hmm. The story in the comics of that character is really, really good. So you could adapt that one instead of like going in and doing this, because then he starts with the story, oh, why are you doing this? If we did White Panther, you guys wouldn't be happy. And it starts all these discussions again that I don't think there's a point to tell that story. But in the end of the day, depending on the director that they get, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, because they might bring someone that has a really good take on it. So I always give the benefit of the doubt, but yeah, I'm not really excited about it.
They're already sitting on Ava DuVernay after they canceled her film.
Yeah,
who's going to do New Gods? Bring her in, because I think she's phenomenal, and I want to see what she does with a superhero character. But I totally agree with you. I mean, in a way, they could have gone the same route that Falcon and Winter Soldier just went with, being a black Captain America and following up, the white Captain America and society in the world. I mean, it could be the same thing with, you have Kal-El in the world, and then there's this Superman who comes and wants to do, help out and do the same type of noble thing.
That's what happens with Steel. Like Steel in the comic books is like when Superman dies, and he's just a normal guy that decides to create a suit to help because he sees the world is crumbling down. And that's what makes it really curious, is that he's a normal guy that's risking his life. So why are you doing the same story again? But yeah, I think Warner Brothers is just like throwing all the mud to the walls and see what sticks. I think it's a little bit, there's not really a plan there. And
they keep saying like, we have a plan, we're good to go. And we're like, do you? Because every bit of news that comes out seems a little questionable.
It's like they trying to make people angry at them. That other day with that trailer of Justice League,
God.
I just feel there's someone there like running the show that is making it theirs with people like, I dare you to release a trailer for Justice League. They're like, oh, hold my beer. Look at this.
Tell Sean about that, because I don't know that Sean knows what happened with that.
I'm curious about what happened with the Justice League thing.
So after everyone is like talking about the Snyder cut and bring the Snyder thing back and whatever, what does Warner Brothers do? They release a trailer of the original Josh Whedon Justice League in 4K. Okay, so they and the thing is, if that wasn't bad enough, they even used some scenes that's on the Snyder cut in the trailer. That it's like, dude, like just look in the mirror, see what you're doing.
Do they read a tweet? Like not even like tweets or Twitter or all of Twitter or what's trending. Just a tweet. Pick a tweet out.
Maybe they go and see, we trending, and they don't look at what's going on.
Fuck Warner Brothers.
We're doing something right. We're doing something right. We're trending all the time. But
you're talking about it.
Or read that email that your attorney sent you after the investigation into Joss Whedon's production of Justice League. Maybe you shouldn't be bringing that up again. It's so tone deaf. Everything about them is tone deaf, and it's shocking to me. I don't know. Anyway,
I don't know.
We're getting more Transformers movies, so that's a positive.
Yeah, fantastic.
But anyway, the positive part about this is I do like this casting a lot. So Dominique Fishback is going to star opposite Anthony Ramos in the new Transformers movie, where Anthony Ramos is going to be singing to Optimus Prime. Very excited for it. Creed 2 director Stephen Caple Jr. is going to helm the film, which is being described as a sequel, but people don't know what it's a sequel to.
I love Bumblebee being described as a sequel. Like, fucking what, dude? There's been like 18 Transformers movies. Like,
which sequel are you going for?
Maybe it means we're getting Anthony Hopkins back now.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, good call. Hot off his Oscar-winning role.
If it's Bumblebee, if it's a sequel to Bumblebee, I'll be happy because I really enjoy that movie. I think Bumblebee is great. And it's really annoying that's the one that made the less money in the box office. That is what really gets on my nerves because we say everything about Michael Bay, but we have to admit what that guy touches turns into gold. Like he makes money like all the time. So if this goes on the path like Bumblebee went, I'm happy. If it goes like back to Michael Bay, it just can't be like, I don't want any more. It's just like crushing dreams.
I love the description of this movie. If you don't mind me taking the hosting duties for a second, where it says Ramos's character is described as a flawed and vulnerable hero who has made mistakes in his life and is eager to redeem himself with the help of Optimus Prime. Is Optimus Prime going to help get him cleaned up? Like, if we're going to get Glenn Close with a bad wig and Optimus Prime, and this is going to be...
Give him 4 good days. You have to give him 4 good days.
4 good days until the Decepticons come.
It just sounds really weird to me. Everything about it. I'm excited about the casting because I do think that they're starting to do some non-traditional casting with who was it? Haley Steinfeld, was that who was in Bumblebee? Who I thought was really good. And then, bringing in Anthony Ramos, of course, the connection that people are going to make is, the musical career and stuff like that. But I really do like that. I like Dominique Fishback coming off.
Imagine if it's a musical. Like Transformers the musical, that would be amazing.
Unyolo, I have a scene pitched where Anthony Ramos is friends with Optimus Prime, and the law enforcement want Anthony Ramos to betray Optimus Prime, and so he goes, "I am not gonna betray my butt. I am not gonna betray my butt," and that's all I got you so far. But it's something. It's I'm working through it.
I would look at this point. I would love to see that. That's the thing. I got to a point now that I want a movie that takes risk, even if it's completely ridiculous, than just watching the same thing again. So
Robot
if it's
musical.
a musical, look, imagine that. It would be great.
All right, so let's move on from that. If I can compose myself,
you won't.
We just got. We just got confirmation from Kevin Feige yesterday that Doctor Strange was originally planned to be in the finale of WandaVision, but was removed mainly. And there's some other quotes out there that it didn't include in the guide, the movie's post, but essentially they didn't want a white man to come tell her, like, here's everything that's happening and here's your powers and stuff like that. which I actually think is a brilliant move. And they wanted to have her stand on her own. But the commercials were originally I don't know where we're about to go with this. This worries me so much. But the commercials through WandaVision were originally supposed to be Doctor Strange's attempts to break through her sitcom fabrication, which I think make those commercials a little bit more, give them a little bit more structure and sense. Sean, let's go to you because God knows what's about to come out of your mouth.
I love they didn't want a white guy to come in and fly in, and that's exactly what happened with White Vision. But they didn't want a white guy to just come flying in, and I'm like, well, that's I mean, so it's like, so we brought White Vision. Bill, I think that's the same situation. All right, so I will say this. I think that is a brilliant move on their part in terms of optics. I love the idea of not just some man coming in and fixing Wanda's problems, but I think we all need to sit down for a second, have a glass of milk, and realize that Wanda is kind of a supervillain at the end of this movie. Mm-hmm. She literally brings a town inches within their sanity as they beg for the sweet release of death. And then it's just kind of they'll never know what you sacrificed for them. And then she flies off. I would kind of need, there should be sort of a Doctor Strange being no, you tortured people.
There is. It's called Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked a little bit of something here where there's the slight accountability here. Because in this one, she sort of flies off being good for you. You killed your imaginary family so that actual people could live. And I don't know. I agree with the decision in optics.
Deeper than that.
I know. What you don't know, Unyolo, is on this podcast, I am the non-comic fan, although I watch all the comic book stuff. So I don't know really what's actually happening underneath and stuff like that.
No. What I mean is that her lost is more. It's harder than that. Even if it's not real for her is. But the thing is, I was confused with this because a couple of months ago, Cumberbatch said he wasn't in because there were some conflicts with shooting. So I think it's bullshit. They didn't got him in because he was probably filming something else. And because
they never told Paul Bettany because he just teased it the entire time.
Yeah, exactly. He was oh, there's someone coming. And then he says, "Oh, it was me," and I was like, "Was it?" I think he probably couldn't film it because I'm not seeing that being the case. But I don't know that story, and why is he admitting it and stuff like that? He's the guy that never says anything. I don't know if I believe that if he was that to be honest, but. I don't know. We'll never know.
He has been lying a lot. What was the weird thing? Captain America returning. It was Chris Evans. News to me. Kevin Feige. You heard the man. I'm both of you just shut up. Don't say anything. You're talking in circles. I'm sick of your crap.
But that's the thing. That's his superpower. If you hear an interview,
lying.
No, it's not lying. That is the thing. And you're a lawyer and you know this. He never lies. It just doesn't tell you shit. It just goes around and around and around. And then if you start listening to what he's saying, it's you're not telling us anything. You talked for an hour and you were able of not telling us anything. It's incredible. It's a gift that he has, that guy. But yeah, I don't believe. I think he probably was supposed to be in, and then they couldn't get him for some reason. And then they just found an alternative. I don't know.
I wonder how deep it would have of the involvement it would have been though if it was just one scene or something. I could totally see it as everything we saw happened, and then he shows up and is Wanda, no. And then they're Doctor Strange in a Multiverse of Madness coming 2022. That's what it seems like.
I think that would have been it. I think it would be something like
Wanda,
that. Just
no.
No.
What is he, Dikembe Mutombo?
All right, let's move into our final story. Final story of the night, skipping around a little bit. Deadline's reporting that Eva Longoria's upcoming directorial debut has found its cast. It's a Cheetos-focused biopic of Donald Trump. Get it? Cheetos?
Yeah,
Orange.
no, I got that joke, but I
Okay.
just like, is there an interesting story about Cheetos that I'm being Portuguese don't know about it?
So
Because
here you go. Here's what we're getting real quick. The
Okay.
film's going to be called Flamin' Hot, and the leads are going to be Jesse Garcia from the show Quinceañera and Annie Gonzalez from the show Gentified, which I thought was gentrified spelled incorrectly. It is not. It is Gentified. Garcia is going to play Richard Montanez, who is a former janitor for Frito-Lay who came up with the concept of the insanely popular Flamin' Hot Cheetos, while Gonzalez will portray his wife. It sounds like the story is going to be focused on sort of the coming from the bottom type story where he couldn't read or write, was told to like kind of like keep his place, know his place, had this idea, saved a bunch of jobs by coming up with this concept. And I'm assuming they're going to go into like the he saved Frito-Lay type place. I don't know, but
so
Sean,
they didn't stole this idea and he's now broke and like suing everyone, and
it's a crossover with The Founder. I would watch that. Sean, this is going to be, in my opinion, one of the most anticipated movies when it comes out. I think it has the. I mean this with all sincerity. I think it has a lot of potential.
I gotta be honest, like with this kind of thing, I mean, we're talking about directorial debut for Eva Longoria, but I looked it up. She's directed a ton of TV, so she knows how to, like, I don't know, make a thing like that. That is there, like that. So this means at the very least serviceable director, which is not a huge compliment or praise or hope, but at the very least there's that. This has the formula of something, you know, that is very, very overtold. And just not that original. The idea that it is going to be Cheetos that is the final product is the original part. Other than that, it's just like person has idea, gets up from the bottom, faces adversity, wife supports no matter what, literally no matter what, women support your wife no matter what, literally no matter what, women support your but like when it comes down to it, there's just that like level of the biopic that's the coming of age nature to it that does make everyone feel good, and it's a warm blanket, and it's, you know, the like American type of story there. Now, whether that can be delivered, you know, in a boring fashion or that can be delivered in something original. I will say this, when like everyone, literally 2010, everyone's like, oh my God, the Facebook movie. Really? They're making a movie about Facebook? And some people were just like, no, it's about the creation of Facebook. And that turns into something kind of unbelievable. So it's not just about like the founding of something or the biopic of someone finding something, but sometimes what catches the eye of it is what it is. And this is literally the Flaming Hot Cheetos movie now. Now, it's not the Flaming Hot Cheetos movie where like the beginning of it is the opening of a bag and then you start taking them out during the certain character arcs and plot points, and the end of it is the crumbs. That's not what we're actually looking at here. But what this is going to be the creation of it. But people will dub it Flaming Hot Cheetos movie. It will get a lot of attention. It will pique curiosity. And this might be something people have done. Now, granted, I did just compare The Social Network, which is the American masterpiece of the 21st century, to something Eva Longoria is going to direct.
That's going to go well.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to age perfectly fine. But I will say, like, I do have, like, hope for this. I do have, like you said, there is a lot of potential here. Who knows where it's going to go, but I'm kind of excited to see the next step.
The thing is, you said something there that I think, like you said, the American story. I don't think that's going to go like, I'm not seeing Europe, like, going, oh, there's going to be a Cheeto movie. And I don't think we're going to be very excited about it, because the thing with Facebook is like everyone kind of like uses it, and you're like, oh, they're going to tell how this was. But Cheetos is not something that I'm eating and I'm thinking, oh, I wonder who made this. How is the story of this came out? I just think it's something that like, so like no one really gives a crap who the hell made it. So unless there's a story behind it that it's interesting, and there's like, I don't know, someone stole the idea, then there's like all these things going on, and I'm not seeing the drama from it, but like I might be wrong. Like
I'm wondering if there's more to the story that's just not released yet.
That's what I'm thinking, because in The Founder, I think the idea is that you kind of think he's a guy that made McDonald's and he started from zero, and then you see it's like that crappy guy that stole it from those nice guys that just wanted to have one restaurant, and then he goes back and he even ruins that restaurant. Then I think that's something you didn't know about. But the thing is, look, this is not the weirdest idea out there. They're doing a Monopoly movie, so like, why not do a Cheetos movie? Like, I don't know. It's everything is. They're doing a Tetris movie. I don't know if you guys saw that one.
Mm-hmm.
So like, how you do a Tetris movie? Like, what's going to be the?
Well, I think all the pieces kind of have to fit together for that one. But
give us the pitch for that movie, Sean. Come on.
That was it.
You know,
imagine if it's just a movie of someone playing Tetris. That's it.
Wait, one sec. All right, I got to move this one over.
I really do enjoy how Sean compared it to The Social Network, where the first thing that came to mind for me was that Lifetime KFC short, A Recipe for Seduction. Like, that's the level I have it on. But I love stories like this that are like, you know, about the little guy, and I just hope that there's more to it. I agree with that, Sean. So, guys, that's our news tonight, but I do want to just leave with this funny quote. I guess Zack Snyder was asked about directing Star Wars and if he ever would. And he was like, this is what he said. The lesson I've learned is that it's much easier for me as a filmmaker to create a world and invite you into it, as opposed to me saying, let me put my cog in your wheel. Like, I would love to make Star Wars movie. I know a lot about it, but I don't think I would survive that.
My God.
Stay away from IP, buddy. Stay away from IP.
He broke that guy. Like, he's broken now. He's like miserable.
He said he has a very specific point of view, and that it's much easier for him to create his own world rather than try to fit himself into something that won't work. I do think that's pretty solid self-awareness.
Yeah.
And that's why I think Army of the Dead is going to be really good, in my opinion.
Well, there's going to be like 5 of those movies now. So
Netflix was like, movie, anime series, prequel, sequel.
Snyder's like, let's see how it goes.
I've been here before. This does not work.
This could go south.
They already greenlit Jupiter's Legacy versus Army of the Dead. It's really weird. But we'll see where that goes. All right, so this week there's a lot of new releases coming out. You have Wrath of Man hitting theaters starring Jason Statham. Here today hitting theaters, mainstream theaters and VOD, which is not getting the best response, and nobody knows about it, but I'm actually really pumped for it. I also don't know what it's about.
I saw it. It's amazing. Okay. I saw it, and I've been telling people to watch mainstream for
Wait, are you kidding?
Now.
Or
I'm not joking. I saw it in the festival. Is it the Andrew
Garfield?
Yeah. It's amazing. And Andrew Garfield. No, Andrew Garfield's like, it's like, you never saw him like that. I saw it a couple of months ago in a festival, and I've been telling everyone to watch it, and everyone is like, oh, it's not anywhere. Where like, that movie doesn't exist. And I'm like, I'm not crazy. I saw it, and it's really, really good. He gives a really good performance. And for us that works with content and social media, it's a very big eye-opener of how sad we all are. Okay, so just remember that watching it. How sad we all are.
I do that after a bag of Cheetos, so I don't really, so I'll just watch the Cheetos movie.
Look, watch that movie. I really liked it, but I can see it easily. A lot of people hating it because it's very over the top. It's very like a caricature of content creators and how
I'm excited.
So good. So watch that one.
I'm very excited. I will eat my flaming hot Cheetos while I'm watching that. That's all I want right now. Monster hits Netflix. The Boy from Midian. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's the way it's spelled. I think it's Midian, not Medellin. Is hitting Amazon Prime Video. The Human Factor, which is the documentary I talked about earlier, is hitting theaters as well. And then hitting VOD and on demand, I believe, is a movie called Initiation. It's kind of like a horror type fraternity initiation movie that I just got a screener for a little while ago, and I can't wait to watch tonight. I'm so excited. I love stupid movies. I hope it's not stupid. It might be good. But please don't blacklist me.
That's what I was gonna say. You're not doing a good job to get more screeners.
I listen. You know what my most quoted reviews are?
Oh, sorry.
You know what my most quoted reviews are? 2 out of 5s.
2 out of 5.
I swear to God, every time that someone like I get a request to use a quote, it's like from a movie that I kind of shit on. But anyway, I was just going to try to make a transition out of that, and it doesn't really work here. But quick announcement is that we have planned out the next couple editions of trivia night with the Guy at the Movies and the Chumps. Phase 1 Marvel Trivia is going to be next Thursday. 2 weeks after that, we'll have Phase 2. 2 weeks after that, Phase 3, since we're getting back into Marvel land. Following that, which ends up being the night before F9 premieres in theaters, we will be doing a Fast Saga. The night before F9 premieres in space, we'll be doing the Fast Saga trivia, and then 2 weeks after that is Schitt's Creek trivia, which I'm pumped about. Eat glass. So, YOLO.
Fast Saga, Jesus, like that trailer is like, what else can they do? It's just like to a point that they don't really care now. This make logic. Who the hell gives a shit? Like, just
all about money. All about money.
But the thing is, I'm really pumped to watch it. That's what annoys me. It's like I watch the trailer, I'm like, I want to watch it now. Look, but John Cena kind of gets on my nerves. Like, don't know about him.
You're gonna be seeing a lot of them.
I know.
I will say Fast 5 is the only one in that series that I actually like.
Fast 5 is good.
It's good. And the recent F9 trailer employed a lot of Fast 5. And I think they know what they're doing with that. Because like there's a lot of like the semi-realistic stunts minus space. But it's just one of those things where I was like, okay, so they're trying to get me in there. They're catering to me. So I'll appreciate that and go
like the giant magnets. Like that's the realistic things, like the giant magnets.
I guess realistic stunts is what I mean, I guess.
But the thing is, I really liked Hobbs and Shaw, and it was ridiculous. Like it was so stupid that I just got into it because he kind of like knows it's stupid. So as long as it's that and it's not Vin Diesel acting like he's in a very serious movie, I'm okay.
I always say that I'm all about a movie that knows what it's doing. Like it knows what it is, and it plays into that instead of trying to be too serious.
Yeah, that's why I loved Godzilla versus Kong, because he knows what it is. Like if he was like, oh, this is a very serious movie about a big lizard and a big monkey, and look at this, like I would be like, no, shut up. But because it was so stupid, it was like I'm gonna make Godzilla smile. That for me made like I'm okay with that.
Hey, that works. I'm all about it. YOLO, very good having you here. Always welcome back. It's always fun to talk with you. I don't know how you have this energy in the early morning hours at where you are.
Yeah, no, it's fine because like you guys are fun to be with, so he makes everything easier. Sean makes me laugh.
I've been called human caffeine, so
I have 4 timestamps written down for potential things that are going to be making their way onto Instagram in the next day.
Oh God!
So that should be interesting. But YOLO, tell everyone where they can find you.
So yeah, you can find us on Instagram on YOLO Movies blog. It's like our main thing. And you can find us there doing reviews, we're watching now movies from all over the world. We are like doing our top movies. We already did 25 countries. What we never thought that we saw so many movies from so many countries. Our last one was the Invincible Russia. That did like some amazing movies, some weird ones. But yeah, you can watch there our reviews and our posts about movies, and we also now doing that square table where we just talk with people about not just movies, but what it means for us that love movies and talk about them. And like, so having some good conversations there, you can find us there.
Excellent. And where can people find you, Sean?
Math Teacher Movies on Instagram. I do Monologue Mondays, Final Shot Fridays, and What the Oscars Got Wrong Wednesdays. I review movies of past and present and TV shows of past and present. Also on GuyAtTheMovies.com, I have Awards Watch with Math Teacher Movies, where I'm going to be going over the MTV Movie Awards.
He's literally been doing this for 5 months.
I just heard him saying meth as the drug, and I was like, that makes a lot of sense. Meth movie.
That would do it. Yeah, man.
He really enjoyed what's that movie? The movie with Mads Mikkelsen. He really enjoyed that movie and wanted to take it a step further. And instead of alcohol, teacher, meth.
Just smoke a little bit of meth. Yeah,
Changes everything. And you can find me at guyatthemovies.com. We have a lot of great features coming up. Most recently, some Bad Batch recaps are popping up, as well as Jupiter's Legacy over the course of the next week, starting on Friday, and a lot of other fun that's popping up. You can find the top 3 movie apps that I think you should download, as well as the Guide to Movies Summer Movie Guide coming out tomorrow. And that's actually a lot of fun to write. It got me really pumped, and I might quit my job to go to the movies all the time. But we'll find out. Not sure. But hey, guys, this has been an absolute blast. And until next time, bye.
bye.
Bye.